Hi guys, I recently finished George R.R. Martin's A Game of Thrones, which is the first in the series called A Song of Ice and Fire. I say I finished it, I'm halfway through the appendix, but the story is pretty much as good as over. Anyway, mind blown. This is awesome. I've just finished writing up my written report on Goodreads, and I'll probably mention a lot more stuff in that than in this video, because I want to try and keep it more spoiler free if I can. I can't get over how awesome this book was. I gave it 5 stars, and I shall tell you for why. What A Game of Thrones is, if you guys have been living under a rock, I don't know. It's basically all these like self-titled lords, kings, queens fighting for the throne and the right to rule over the 7 kingdoms. I would describe it to be a political high fantasy novel, very heavy on the politics. Now, I thought that might be something I'd struggle with going into this book, even though I watched the TV series and I understood that quite a lot. I just thought maybe the book would be more difficult to get through, maybe sort of written in the way Tolkien writes some of his books. But no, it was way easier to understand and way easier to plough through than I was expecting. I mean, it's quite a large book as well, so it was really shocking to just be able to breeze through it. I do think this is one of the biggest books I've ever read, and I think it's the one with the most perspectives, because it is multiple perspectives and you do read from a lot of people. That's another thing I thought I might kind of be a bit angsty with, but not at all. I felt like everyone's storyline flowed together. I felt like I wanted more rather than less of characters. I mean, there was one character that I liked the least, and that was Sansa, just because I found her petty, and I know that's kind of her character, and she's kind of more like highborn in the way she comes across and stuff. But no, I found myself wanting more, because a lot of the time everyone's chapters ended on some sort of cliffhanger and I needed to know what was happening. But it's definitely something that really gets your mind going. It enthralls you, it throws you in at the deep end, and I felt invested in all of these characters. They definitely have some sort of substantial amount of need to the story in order for it to go on. I will say my favourite point of views were from either Bran or Daenerys, and I think that's just because of the magical element around them. You know, Daenerys with her dragon eggs and her magi, and Bran with his dire wolves and his stories of the children of the forest. I just thought that sort of thing captivates me. I'm interested in fantasy in terms of, magicalness and magical realism and all that sort of thing. So I think that's why I drew to those characters the most out of everyone else. I mean, don't get me wrong, even though I disliked certain characters, I still enjoyed everybody's perspectives. As I said earlier, they all put something into the story and made it what it was. I found myself absolutely being heart torn, just dying at some of the scenes in this book, and at other times I was laughing out loud, even though I don't think I was supposed to laugh. So it's definitely a book that plays on your emotion. Even though you don't hear from everybody in the realm's perspective, I feel like a lot of side characters are fleshed out, and their backstories are shown to you through the eyes of other characters. So even though George R.R. Martin did technically leave some characters out, the main characters that he used made you understand who they were in relation to them speaking, if that makes sense. So you kind of saw a little bit of everybody through other people's eyes, and sometimes you saw the same person through multiple people's eyes, and you can kind of get a feel for what they've done to make them feel that way and that sort of thing. The only main issues really that I had with this story was that I kept trying to relate it to the TV show, because obviously, well, currently now I've not watched season 5, and I know that's almost finished, or it might already be finished, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so all the seasons so far I keep relating this to it, and I did find some differences. One of them is that Dany is, described differently in the book than in the show. She's supposed to have purple eyes, things like that. Another thing is age. That is a big thing for me, because I found that everyone else was much younger than they were in the show, and I know the show, it's got blood, sex, everything like that, sort of violence, so you need older people, but they were much younger in the book than I had expected. For example, again, Dany, I'll use her again. I think she was 13 in this book, whereas the show, she's a grown-ass woman. I think she's 18, or she looks it at least, Other characters, who else? I don't know, obviously now I can't think of them as I'm trying to come up with good examples, but there was a lot of characters in here that are much younger than I was expected, so, and some situations with them made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, because I knew how old they were, really. So that kind of played in my head again. Another thing was that I found it difficult, this one's my own fault, I found it difficult to realise when characters were related. I heard like a surname quite a few times and I just thought nothing of it, and then I realised only when they said that, oh, you're related to that person. But I think because they were like on the other side of the world to each other, it kind of never really clicked for me. But no, it was something that I think I struggled personally with myself. It's no fault of the book or the writing or anything like that. And lastly, the characters that we were reading from, some of them I feel like we didn't get to see enough of them in this book, so they weren't as fleshed out enough as I wanted, and the characters that we did get a lot of were ones that I didn't like too much, for example again Sansa. But you know, that's how the book goes, there were so many people to get through, you kind of can't have all that you want. But no, I think that's the only bad points that I have to say about this book, and they're not even really bad points. So yeah, none of those really hindered my enjoyment of the book. I found it incredibly endearing, I was enthralled with all the characters, I was like proper into it, and I enjoyed it so much. The appendices at the back are really helpful for like the history and the relations of major characters, so it makes it more understandable if you were having some sort of blockage of who is who and who are they related to and why, and kind of why they're doing this, why they're doing that. So the back definitely clears that up for me at least. I think I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have read this book, or you know, you're watching a TV series, or you've read further on, tell me how you're enjoying it. Do you like it? Would you recommend the rest of the series? I mean, I think it's 7 books currently, and I've got like a big box set. I'm looking down because it's down there. So, you know, would you say it should be boosted up to my TBR, or should I read something else and then come back to it? How would you read it? Would you marathon it? I don't know, let me know, and I shall speak to you in another video soon.